warlord, head of mercenary group, Wagner group, in fact, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who led a failed uprising against Russian President Vladimir Putin a couple of months ago, has died in a plane crash with 9 others, as per the Russian officials. Now, many questions are being raised as to what exactly happened. What is, if it's just, an air disaster, or was it an act of revenge? As the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, had very famously said once, he cannot forgive betrayal. Let me very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, give you a sense of what we know so far and what has happened as far as this entire mystery is concerned, and a little bit about who is Prigozhin. Now, it's a dramatic, at least something that I must say that it was quite dramatic of what happened, a surprising development for many. In June, remember, this man who you are seeing on your screens, Prigozhin led his militia on a rapid march towards Moscow, a brazen attempted coup, a challenge to Vladimir Putin's regime, his iron-fisted, in fact, control over Russia. Prigozhin abruptly had at that moment, in fact, halted this entire march towards Kremlin, and then it was later learned that Kremlin had said that Prigozhin had accepted a deal, ladies and gentlemen, apparently which was brokered by Belarus, for him to spend his days in exile in Belarus. So now, what do we know so far? What has come to light? Let's very quickly take you through that. When it comes to this crash right now, the main source of information has come from Russian authorities and the state media. Remember, they don't have much of an, advantage, or at least they are not known for their transparency. They are known to be the mouthpieces as far as the Russian regime is concerned. But the Russian aviation officials have confirmed that the aircraft which crashed north of Moscow on Wednesday evening had Prigozhin on board along with 9 other people, including his deputy, who are now being claimed to have died in this plane crash. A lot of Wagner-linked Telegram channels in Grey Zone had reported that the jet had been shot down by the Russian military, and hence the entire mystery around this. Although so far the Wagner allied Telegram channels have not so far provided any evidence to support what they have been saying. Now, what did the report say? The report said the jet was functioning fine till just about 30 seconds before it met that fatal crash. Now, the reports also said that the plane just suddenly took a complete vertical plunge, resulting in that deadly crash, killing everybody on board. Now, by the way, ever since Prigozhin had ordered his troops to march towards Moscow in a day-long rebellion that not just Russia, but people across the globe held their breaths to see what is going to happen. Russian military leaders, against the Russian military in June, he was described by many Russian watchers as a dead man walking, because you can't, many said you can't ignore Prigozhin's rebellion that challenged Vladimir Putin's position, and Putin doesn't typically let his enemy stick around. That is known as far as the Russian president is concerned. Now, Prigozhin was a former convict. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He and a hot dog salesman who turned a mercenary boss, was very close at one point of time to Vladimir Putin. He had a lot of admirers in the ranks of his Wagner mercenary army and beyond. His army was used in Africa, in very important military missions, in fact, Ukraine as well. But he wasn't exactly in Putin's inner circle, but he had the skills and the connection to be useful when he needed. So while all this was happening, many are not surprised, and this includes American President Joe Biden. Let's very quickly listen in to what Joe Biden, the President of the United States, said on this crash.
Asked about this by you. I said I'd be careful what I wrote in. I don't know for a fact, what happened, but I'm not surprised. There's not much that happens when Russia and Putin not behind, but I don't know enough to know the answer. I've been working out for the last hour and a half.
Even Elon Musk, the Twitter chief, he was not surprised. He said, it just seems it has taken, he thought that it has taken too long for it to come to where it has. So he was not even surprised with what has happened. But the big questions remain, ladies and gentlemen. Was it a crash or a sabotage? Was the plane carrying Prigozhin shot down? Is it a stage drama to help Prigozhin disappear? And has Prigozhin shifted to Belarus after June mutiny? Why did he return? Are all those questions that many people are at this moment asking again and again. I very quickly, before I end, I just want to tell you a list of how many people have died in mysterious circumstances, suspected deaths, those who have been against Vladimir Putin. Pavel Antov, in December 2022, this Russian tycoon fell from a window from a hotel in India. He is a politician and millionaire, criticized Putin's war effort in Ukraine. Ravil Maganov, in September 2022, he was openly critical of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Reports say he died by falling out of a window of a hospital in Moscow. Dan Rapoport, he died in August 2022, publicly condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was discovered dead in front of his apartment in Washington, D.C. Mikhail Leshin, November 2015, Leshin was a Russian press minister who was who founded, in fact, the RT network. And he was also found dead in a hotel room in fact, Washington, D.C. Boris Nemtsov, 2015, former deputy prime minister under Boris Yeltsin, big critic of Putin, shot 4 times by people in his backyard, just meters away from Kremlin. Prigozhin joins this list of Putin critics now. That's all the time that I have in this edition of Breaking News. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned.